What if, just imagine for a moment, that everything you've been desperately chasing is already on its way to you? But here's the catch, it's you who's unknowingly blocking it. The wise words of the Buddha echo through time. You only lose what you cling to. In a world consumed by constant hustle, control, and the obsession with instant results, we often forget a quiet, powerful truth. The universe doesn't respond to relentless effort alone. It responds to your energy. Right now, life isn't testing you through chaos. It's testing you through your own resistance. Ask yourself, how much of your inner peace are you sacrificing in exchange for progress that never quite arrives? And for what? This video is going to gently challenge the way you think about effort, timing, and control. Through the timeless wisdom of Buddhism, you'll uncover the hidden reasons why life often feels so unbearably heavy, and what miraculous shifts happen when you finally learn to let go. If there's only one message you carry with you today, let it be this: you don't have to chase what's already yours. That, in itself, could change your entire life. And stay with me till the end, because there's a deeply meaningful bonus insight waiting for you, one that could quietly transform how you move through your days. Lesson 1. Let go like the sky releases the storm. What if the only thing standing between you and the peace you seek is your need to control everything? There's a lesson whispered in the silence after a storm, when the clouds part, and the sky returns to its endless stillness. As if nothing ever happened. The sky doesn't cling to the thunder. It doesn't replay the lightning. It simply lets go. And so must you. Release the grip. Allow life to unfold without constant interference. Because here's a truth most people quietly fear to face: the tighter you hold on, the more you suffer. So many of us spend our days chasing outcomes, micromanaging every detail, scripting the future like it's a fragile thing that might shatter without our constant attention. We label it ambition, but in truth, it's often fear wearing a clever disguise, the fear of losing control. The fear of not being enough unless we prove it. And the fear that if we stop clinging, everything we care about will fall apart. Yet, Buddhism gently teaches the opposite. Attachment is the root of suffering. It's not the world outside you that creates turmoil, it's your inner resistance to what is. When you fight reality, you stir up inner conflict. You burn out, you feel like you're endlessly pushing boulders uphill, while peace slips further out of reach with every step. But when you surrender, not in defeat, but in wisdom, something beautiful happens. You begin to trust the natural rhythm of your life. You move with the current instead of against it. Right now, pause and ask yourself, what am I still trying to control that no longer serves me? Is it a job title? A relationship that's weighed you down? A version of yourself you've long since outgrown? Could you let it go, as naturally as the sky releases the rain? Because here's a secret: peace isn't something you chase. It's something you create space for. Think about a river. It doesn't force its way to the ocean. It simply flows, trusting its path. You don't make the river move, you let it carry you. What if your dreams are already on their way to you, but it's your own anxious need to control every outcome that's keeping the door shut? What if calm, clarity, and everything you truly deserve could arrive the very moment you stop trying to force life to happen? There's an old story about a man who stood every single day at a locked door. He pounded, he screamed, he demanded it open. Years passed, he wore himself thin, and then one day, exhausted, he collapsed beside it, and finally noticed another door had been quietly open behind him all along. That's the cost of control. It blinds you to what's already unfolding for your highest good. So ask yourself, can you allow things to be as they are, without labeling them as good or bad? This is the essence of mindful surrender. You don't abandon responsibility, you abandon resistance. You still plant the seed, but you don't scream at the soil, demanding it grow. So, breathe, loosen your grip, let the storm pass without trying to catch the rain. Because the calm you've been chasing is already within you. It's just buried under layers of control, fear, and expectation, and at the end of the day, it was never out there. It's been quietly waiting inside you all along. After all, as we just learned, peace isn't something you chase. It's something you make space for. And when you do, life begins to flow, not through force, but through quiet trust. Lesson 2. Observe your mind like a still lake watches the moon. When was the last time you truly watched your own thoughts? Not chased them, not feared them, and certainly not drowned in them, but simply noticed them as they passed by? If you're like most people, you might not even realize how trapped inside your own mind you've become. Thoughts rise like waves, and before we know it, we're running after them. Worries surface, and we cling to them as if our survival depends on it. But here's where Buddhist wisdom offers a gentle, life-changing alternative, a quieter, deeper way to live. Picture this, a still, silent lake under the glow of a full moon. The surface is smooth, untouched by wind, perfectly reflecting the light above. That's what your mind can become. Clear, calm, undisturbed. A mirror of truth, but only if you learn to observe instead of react. In the rush of modern life, our minds become restless, thoughts scatter like leaves in a storm, tossed around by deadlines, fears, and endless distractions. You might find yourself chasing a promotion, comparing your life to others on social media, doubting if you're good enough, worthy enough. But what if, instead of fighting those thoughts, you simply paused? What if you stopped wrestling with your mind and began to watch it? There's a powerful teaching that reminds us, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. It isn't just a poetic quote, it's a lifeline. Calmness doesn't mean fixing every anxious thought that crosses your mind. It means letting them drift by, like clouds across a vast sky, without pulling you under. When a thought arises, I'm not doing enough, what if I fail, they don't understand me, don't wrestle it. Don't bury it, just notice it, sit with it, watch it, as a still lake cradles the reflection of the moon. And you'll begin to notice something extraordinary. The thought passes, and you remain. This simple practice is the heart of mental clarity. And clarity, in turn, is freedom. Because when you observe your thoughts without judgment, without grabbing hold of them, you begin to recognize their patterns. You see how many of them aren't even yours, but old echoes. Fears inherited from others, borrowed beliefs, and outdated stories. Each time you watch a thought without reacting, you weaken its hold. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I watching my thoughts? Or am I drowning in them? There's an old story of a monk who told his student, "You are not the clouds. You are the sky that watches them." At first, the student didn't understand. He kept chasing after happiness, pushing away discomfort, running from one feeling to the next. But one morning, during meditation, he finally just sat, no judgment, no effort, only stillness. And in that silence, he saw the truth. Thoughts passed like clouds, emotions rose and fell like waves. But his awareness, the sky behind them, remained steady, unshaken. For the first time, he wasn't lost in his mind. He was free from it. And you can have this freedom too. It doesn't require hours of effort. Just a few quiet minutes each day. Sit in silence. Let the thoughts come. Don't grasp them. Don't push them away. Simply watch, like leaves floating down a gentle stream, or like the sky observing the weather come and go. The more you practice this, the less power your thoughts will have over you. And in that precious space between awareness and reaction, peace is born. Let this be your daily ritual, not as a way to escape the world, but to meet it with a quieter, calmer heart. The storm outside may still rage. Life will still twist and turn. But within you, a still lake remains, reflecting everything as it is, without distortion. And from that place, true wisdom begins to rise. As we reflected before, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, the still, steady presence that notices without being swept away. And from that place of awareness, the universe responds not to what you force, but to what you are quietly ready to receive. Lesson 3. Align your energy like a compass finds north. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract peace, clarity, and meaningful opportunities, while others remain stuck in endless cycles of chaos? No matter how desperately they try? It isn't luck. It isn't even about how hard you push. The truth is, the universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to who you are. It moves in rhythm with the energy you quietly carry within you. Just like a compass naturally finds true north when it's left undisturbed. Your life begins to align when your inner world becomes calm, centered, and steady, but in a world that constantly tugs at us from 1,000 directions. How do we return to that magnetic stillness? Too often, we live on the edge, rushing from one task to another, reacting to every message, carrying silent tension in our hearts and minds. We say we long for peace, but our energy radiates anxiety. We speak of abundance, yet deep down, we vibrate with scarcity. Buddhism gently reminds us of a timeless truth: what you think, you become; what you feel, you attract; what you imagine, you create. You don't draw in what you wish for, you draw in what you are. Imagine your energy as a signal you broadcast into the world every day. What are you sending out right now? Is it fear or faith? Chaos or calm? Scarcity or gratitude? Because life, like a perfect mirror, will quietly reflect your state back to you. When your inner world is cluttered with complaints, resistance, or resentment, the outer world can't help but echo that tension. But when you pause, when you choose peace over panic, when you align yourself with gratitude instead of anxiety, something unmistakable begins to shift. Take a quiet moment right now and ask yourself honestly, what energy am I sending out into the world today? There's an old story of a man who spent years planting seeds in his garden. But nothing would grow. Frustrated, he blamed the weather, the soil, and the changing seasons. One day, a wise teacher approached and gently asked, "Have you checked the ground of your mind?" The man, puzzled, asked what he meant. The teacher replied, "You plant with your actions, but you harvest from your vibration. Whatever you water, grows." That day, the man chose a different path. Instead of working harder and forcing outcomes, he began a new practice, sitting in quiet stillness, aligning his heart, and nurturing inner peace. Slowly, his life began to blossom. That's how energy works. It isn't magic, it's resonance. When your inner world aligns with calm, gratitude, and presence, the right people appear, the right opportunities feel effortless, and life begins to arrange itself around your peace. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you've finally tuned into its natural frequency. You don't need to force your way through life. You need to feel your way into alignment. And this begins with simple, mindful choices, choosing gratitude over complaint, a deep breath instead of a quick reaction, presence over projection, and, perhaps most importantly, choosing inner calm when the world hands you every reason to panic. Start today, even if it's only 5 minutes. Sit quietly, place your hand gently over your heart and ask yourself, am I vibrating with the energy of what I hope to receive? If the answer is no, gently adjust. Return to your breath. Remember the stillness beneath the noise. Because just like a compass quietly finds north, when your energy returns to center, life begins to fall into place. The universe doesn't rush, it aligns. And when you align too, what you truly deserve begins to find its way to you. Not through struggle, not through fear, but through flow. Lesson 4. Trust the river. Even when you can't see the ocean. Have you ever stood at a crossroads in life, overwhelmed by not knowing what comes next? That hollow ache of uncertainty. That quiet voice inside whispering, "What if it doesn't work out?" It's a feeling that can paralyze even the strongest of hearts. But nature, in her quiet wisdom, holds the answer. A river never panics. It doesn't need to see the ocean to know it's coming. It simply flows, unhurried, unwavering, steady. And you, too, are a river. You don't have to see the final destination to keep moving forward. In our modern world, we glorify control. We plan, we predict, we overthink every possible outcome. We're told that certainty is strength, that we must know before we act. But Buddhism offers a gentler, wiser way, an ancient path that invites trust over tension, surrender over struggle. It calls us to release the relentless need to control outcomes and to trust the unfolding of life's natural rhythm. As we just reminded ourselves, life flows best not when we demand certainty, but when we trust the unseen current beneath our feet. The river never panics, and neither should we. Lesson 4. The universe knows the way. Here's a simple truth worth remembering. Not knowing isn't weakness, it's faith. And faith, in its purest form, is a quiet kind of freedom. Take a moment and consider how much of your energy is spent trying to force results. Trying to control how others perceive you. Trying to script exactly how your future unfolds or how quickly your dreams should arrive. That constant effort, though disguised as ambition, often leads to exhaustion, quiet anxiety, and a relentless sense of always falling behind. But what if you let go of the demand for guarantees? What if peace didn't come from certainty, but from trust? A trust so deep it no longer needs to know every outcome to keep moving forward. Ask yourself right now, what would I do differently if I fully trusted the process of life? Would you move through your days with more courage? Would you rest, without guilt, when you needed to? Would you finally release the things, the titles, the identities that no longer serve you? There's a story about a woman who planted a single bamboo seed. Year after year, nothing grew, no sprouts, no signs, only silence. People laughed, mocked her, told her it was hopeless. But she kept watering the ground with quiet faith. Then, in the 5th year, the bamboo shot up, 80 feet tall. In a matter of weeks. What was happening during all those silent years? Invisible preparation, quiet root building, alignment beneath the surface. Her only task was to trust the process and keep tending to what she could not yet see. And life often works the same way. When nothing seems to be happening, everything is actually falling into place beneath the surface. The mind, addicted to proof, can't see it. That's where calm comes in, not as passive waiting, but as powerful surrender. You act, but you don't obsess. You work, but you don't cling. You trust, not because you're certain of the outcome, but because you've chosen to align yourself with the natural rhythm of life. To live in surrender isn't giving up. It's giving over, to the wisdom of timing, to the quiet current carrying you somewhere far better than your mind can imagine. True calm isn't born from everything going right. It's born from trusting, even when it doesn't. So start small, take the next step, not because you've figured it all out, but because you're choosing to walk in faith. Replace worry with wonder, trade obsession for openness. And when the path ahead looks foggy, remember, the river doesn't need a map to find the ocean. It simply flows, and yet, it always reaches its destination. The universe isn't asking you to predict. It's asking you to trust. Stay calm, flow forward, Because what's meant for you isn't something you can force. It's something that arrives quietly. Through faith. Lesson 5. Be empty like the bamboo to be filled by the wind. Sometimes, the reason you feel stuck isn't because life is holding you back, it's because you're holding on too tightly. Clinging to outcomes, grasping for identities, clutching at expectations that were never truly yours to begin with. It's like trying to hold the wind in a clenched fist. The tighter you grip, the more peace slips away. Look at the bamboo, strong, yet hollow. It bends with the storm, but never breaks. It stands tall not because it resists, but because it's open, spacious, light, unattached. That emptiness isn't weakness, it's strength, and because it holds no stubborn weight, it moves effortlessly with the wind. Buddhism teaches that true resilience isn't measured by how much you carry, but by how much you're willing to release. The real mastery of life lies not in accumulating, but in letting go. In the end, there are only 3 things that matter: how deeply you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. Yet most of us don't live that way. We cling, we grasp, we fill every moment with noise and possession. But peace belongs to those who can empty themselves, like bamboo, and become a vessel for grace. As we reflected earlier, true strength isn't found in clinging tighter, it's found in letting go. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for what's meant for you to quietly arrive. Lesson 5. Stop gripping, and let go. So often in life, we chase more, we grip harder, we convince ourselves that we can't rest until every loose end is tied, until every detail falls perfectly into place. But the truth is, that relentless pressure, that tight attachment to outcomes, is the very thing creating the suffering we're so desperate to avoid. Right now, pause and ask yourself, what beliefs or desires am I gripping too tightly? Is it the need to prove your worth? The idea that success has to look a certain way? The quiet fear that if you stop pushing, everything will collapse around you? These aren't just harmless passing thoughts. They carry weight, and the more you hold on to them, the more you block yourself from receiving what is truly meant for you. There's a well-known story about a student who came to a wise monk. Desperate for clarity, the student spoke endlessly, pouring out his problems, his plans, his pain. At last, the monk began to pour tea into a cup. He kept pouring, and pouring, until the tea spilled over. Running across the table, startled, the student cried out, "It's overflowing." The monk smiled and replied, "Exactly, you are like this cup, so full of your own opinions, fears, and expectations that there's no room for anything new. Empty your cup." This is the path of mindful detachment. It doesn't mean rejecting life. It means clearing the constant noise that keeps you from fully living it. It's choosing stillness over obsession, allowing space instead of stuffing every silence with restless worry. It's the quiet understanding that needing nothing opens the door to everything. When you become empty like the bamboo, open, strong, and light, the universe can finally move through you. Letting go isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of trust. Trust that what falls away was never truly yours to hold, and that what's meant for you will find its way. Not through force, but through natural alignment. So start today by clearing the inner clutter. Let go of relationships that exhaust you. Release outcomes that no longer align with your heart. Drop the constant need to be doing more, achieving more, proving more. Create space for joy, for clarity, for truth. Practice this kind of detachment in small, gentle ways. Leave a conversation without needing to have the final word. Sit in silence without reaching for your phone. Watch a thought pass by without immediately attaching a story to it. In that quiet space, you'll discover a kind of peace that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. It rises naturally, the moment you stop resisting the flow of life. Like the bamboo, become empty, not because you lack, but because you trust. The less you cling, the more life can fill you. And what it brings will always be far greater than whatever you were holding onto. Lesson 6. Let stillness be your thunder. We live in a world terrified of silence. Every moment seems to demand our attention, filled with alerts, with scrolling, with the impulse to react, speak, or stay endlessly busy. But what if the wisdom you've been searching for isn't hiding in more motion, but in stillness? Stillness isn't emptiness. It isn't weakness. It's the quiet thunder beneath the surface. It's the force that shapes mountains without a sound. Silence is not nothingness, it's spaciousness. And in that space, the awakened mind finds its home. Burnout doesn't just come from doing too much. It comes from being disconnected. Disconnected from your breath, from your purpose, from the steady truth beneath the chaos. We move faster, hoping speed will bring clarity. But it never does. Clarity doesn't come through frantic motion. It arrives when the dust settles. And the dust only settles in stillness. Think of it this way: a muddy river doesn't become clear by stirring it. It clears when it becomes still. The same is true for your mind. You might tell yourself, "I'm lost, uncertain, overwhelmed." But ask yourself gently, what am I avoiding by filling every silence with noise? Often, it's the fear of hearing what's real. Because in silence, you meet yourself, and in that meeting, transformation quietly begins. There's an old Zen story of a warrior who came to a master. Seeking enlightenment, he asked, "What is truth?" The master remained silent. Minutes passed. The silence grew heavier. The warrior, frustrated, repeated the question louder. Still, the master said nothing. Finally, as the warrior turned to leave in exasperation, the master softly spoke, "Now you're ready to listen." Stillness was the answer all along. And it doesn't mean retreating to a mountaintop or a cave for years. It means creating sacred, intentional pauses in your daily life. A few conscious breaths before you respond. A silent walk without your phone. A morning where you listen to the world without rushing to check notifications. Because in that stillness, something beautiful happens. The noise quiets, the dust settles, and what's left is you, steady, aware, and free. As we learned before, it isn't noise or motion that gives us strength, it's stillness. In those quiet, intentional moments, we reconnect with something deeper than certainty, presence. Lesson 6. Let stillness be your thunder. It's not about waiting for the world around you to grow silent. It's about creating small, intentional pauses within yourself. 5 conscious breaths before you answer that message. A quiet walk without your phone in your hand. A morning where you resist the urge to rush and check notifications. These gentle, mindful pauses don't make you less productive, they make you more aligned. And from that alignment, something powerful happens. Your energy sharpens, your decisions grow clearer, your presence becomes magnetic. You see, stillness isn't the absence of sound or movement. It's the presence of awareness. It's the moment you stop chasing, stop performing, and begin to truly listen. And what you hear may not be a voice, but a knowing. A quiet, unshakable certainty that no praise, title, or validation can give you. That's when you start to trust the flow of life. Not because you've forced answers to appear, but because you've created the space for them to arrive naturally. Your power was never in how loud you could be, but in how centered you can remain when the world around you grows loud. This is something the Buddhists have long understood, that the calmest presence often carries the strongest, most unshakable strength, because calm isn't passivity, it's mastery. So today, don't just look for stillness when it's convenient. Honor it, welcome it, Step into silence, not with impatience, but with curiosity. Let stillness speak louder than your fears. Let it reveal the things you've been too busy, too distracted to notice. In that quiet, you'll find wisdom. In that stillness, you'll remember your truth. Let your stillness be your thunder. Move with calm, speak with presence, act from center, and within that sacred space, between the world's noise and your inner awareness, life will begin delivering what was always meant for you. Lesson 7. Heal the inner mirror to reflect a brighter world. When you gaze into a dusty mirror, what do you see? A distorted reflection, shadows where there should be light. And that's what happens within us when we carry old wounds, unresolved beliefs, and silent pain. The world begins to reflect our inner hurt instead of our true potential. Because the universe isn't something separate from you. It responds to the vibration of your inner world. You cannot walk a peaceful path until you become the peace you seek. That's the wisdom Buddhism quietly reminds us of. Don't chase peace outside yourself. Become it. The struggle for so many of us is that we try to control what's out there: relationships, careers, circumstances, timing, but rarely do we stop to examine the beliefs we hold inside. We say we want abundance, but deep down, we believe we aren't worthy of it. We long for calm, yet we fill our minds with worry and chaos. We demand love, yet deny it to ourselves. And here's the honest truth: you cannot receive what you don't believe you deserve. That's why healing your inner mirror isn't a luxury. It's the starting point of real, lasting transformation. There's a story of a woman who spent years trying to fix everything around her: her job, her partner, her finances. Yet no matter what she did, nothing seemed to stick. One day, exhausted, she sat down in meditation and asked the universe, "Why isn't anything working?" A quiet voice within her answered, "Because you still believe you're broken." That moment cracked her open. She realized it wasn't the world outside her that needed changing, it was the relationship she held with herself. Healing didn't begin with effort. It began with acceptance. So ask yourself honestly, what do I truly believe I deserve? And is that belief helping me, or quietly holding me back? Because if your inner dialogue is rooted in lack, guilt, or fear, no amount of outer success will ever feel like enough. You'll always be chasing, but never arriving. Yet the moment you begin to affirm, "I am already enough, I trust the flow of life," something shifts. The frequency of your life changes. You become magnetic, not because the world suddenly sees you differently, but because you finally see yourself differently. Healing your inner mirror isn't about achieving perfection. It's about presence. It's about watching your thoughts with compassion, catching your inner critic when it speaks too harshly, and choosing kindness instead. It's journaling, meditating, sitting with yourself, not to fix or scold, but to truly listen. It's waking each morning and choosing self-kindness before the world has a chance to shake your spirit. Don't wait for the world to validate your worth. Decide it now. Because the moment your inner mirror clears, you begin to see the opportunities, the love, and the peace that were always there, patiently waiting behind the veil of old beliefs. As we've seen, when you clear the inner mirror and begin treating yourself with kindness, the world starts to reflect that same light back to you. And you don't need to be fully healed or flawless to begin. You only need to begin. Lesson 7. Begin where you are. When synchronicities appear, those quiet, meaningful coincidences, everything starts to feel different. People respond to you differently. Opportunities seem to find you without force. And you stop chasing life, finally allowing yourself to start receiving. The beautiful part is, you don't have to wait until you're perfectly healed to experience this. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to begin. Begin treating yourself as someone deeply worthy of the peace, love, and abundance you desire. Begin showing up each day with calm trust and a quiet, steady knowing that you are supported, even when you can't yet see how. Begin to view the world not as it currently appears, but as a reflection of the person you're becoming. Remember this truth: you become what you believe. Heal the mirror within, and you'll notice the world reflecting your light back to you, not someday, not eventually, but now. Lesson 8. Think lightly. Like a feather rests on water. Sometimes, the heaviness we carry isn't real. It's imagined, a storm of swirling thoughts, endless scenarios, and futures we're trying to predict or control. We get lost in a storm of what-ifs and what-nexts, while forgetting to ask ourselves the only question that ever truly matters: what is real? Right now, Buddhism gently teaches us that a light mind is a free mind. Drop by drop, the water pot is filled. In the same way, drop by drop, a restless mind can be stilled. Picture a feather resting softly on the surface of a calm lake. It doesn't sink, it doesn't resist, it simply floats. And so too, must our thoughts learn to rest, not drown. Lightness isn't carelessness, it's clarity. You were never meant to carry the weight of everything all at once. But overthinking convinces you otherwise. It whispers that if you analyze more, worry longer, plan harder, somehow you'll stay safe. But has that ever truly worked? The more you try to think your way into peace, the more tangled you become. Because peace isn't found in mental gymnastics. It's found in surrender. There's a story of a man who spent every night worrying about a bridge he would one day have to cross. What if it's broken? He wondered. What if I can't make it across? Night after night, his fears consumed him. Yet when the day finally arrived, he discovered the bridge was solid, strong, and waiting. All those restless nights had prepared him for a problem that never existed. And so it is with us. How much of your suffering today is built on fears that may never come to pass? Ask yourself, am I imagining problems that don't even exist yet? If the answer is yes, and often it is, it's time to let your thoughts float instead of sink. Your mind isn't your enemy. It simply needs gentle guidance. The feather doesn't fight the water, and yet it stays afloat. That's the wisdom of trust. The softness of letting go. In daily life, this means making decisions from calm, not chaos. Before you act, pause. Before you speak, breathe. Let your intuition, not your impulse, be your compass. And here's what happens. When your thoughts become light, your energy becomes magnetic. People feel it. The universe responds to it. You begin to attract from a place of grace, not desperation. This lightness is its own kind of discipline. It's the quiet choice to stop feeding the loop of fear and instead nourish the moment you're actually in. Whether you're stuck in traffic, waiting for news, or sitting in uncertainty, can you float instead of sink? Can you choose presence over panic? Lightness doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to stay sane, steady, and open. You weren't made to force outcomes. You were made to align with them, to flow, to release the mental clutter clouding your natural wisdom. So let this be your quiet practice today. Think lightly. Choose one worry to release, one thought to gently let go of, one moment to trust. Because when your mind stops wrestling with a future it cannot control, your heart finally begins to receive what it has always deserved: peace. Float like the feather, trust like the river, and let calm carry you to everything you seek. Lesson 9. Wait for the bloom. Like a lotus in the mud. In murky, muddy waters, where sunlight struggles to reach and everything feels heavy and unmoving, the lotus begins its quiet, patient journey. It doesn't curse the darkness. It doesn't rush to bloom. It grows slowly, one sacred inch at a time. Your life is no different. Right now, you may feel stuck, waiting for something to shift, hoping for clarity about your path, for healing, for peace after years of unrest. But what if this moment, this muddy, uncertain season, isn't a punishment, but preparation? Buddhism reminds us that growth almost always happens beneath the surface, long before it becomes visible. As we reflected before, the lotus doesn't rush to bloom. It rises when it's ready. And often, what feels like a delay in life is actually sacred preparation beneath the surface. Lesson 9. Trust the bloom in its own time. What may look like delay on the outside is often quiet, sacred development on the inside. You can't see the roots stretching deep into the soil, strengthening, preparing. You can't witness the invisible unfolding of your soul. But it's happening, always, in ways you can't yet comprehend. No matter how difficult your past has been, no matter how many detours or disappointments you've faced, you can always begin again. The lotus teaches us this tender truth: peace doesn't require perfect conditions. It grows out of patience, presence, and a willingness to bloom in your own time. But here's the struggle: we've been trained to hurry. Society rewards speed, applauds instant success, and values results over quiet growth. So when things take time, we panic, we question our path, we doubt our worth. But urgency isn't alignment, it's anxiety wearing the mask of ambition. Every time you dig up the seed to check if it's growing, you disturb the very process meant to bless you. So ask yourself gently, can I be still and let the answer come in its own time? Can I trust the soil to do its quiet work without forcing the bloom? This isn't passivity, it's trust. A quiet strength lives in those who can wait with wisdom. Because when you stop demanding instant outcomes, you create space for true transformation, the kind that lasts, the kind that reshapes you from within. Peace is never found in having all the answers lined up. It's found in your ability to breathe through moments when no answers appear. It's discovered in your willingness to stay with discomfort, to sit quietly with uncertainty, to honor the sacred not yet. Many of the most burned-out souls aren't exhausted from doing too much. They're weary from fighting what is, from trying to rush seasons that were meant to unfold slowly, from comparing their muddy middle to someone else's shining bloom. But the lotus doesn't compare. It rises when it's time. And so will you. Each day you choose grace over panic. You build invisible strength. Every moment you opt for patience over urgency. You align a little deeper with the universe. Trust this: when the soil is ready, the seed knows exactly when to rise. And when you do, it won't be with the frantic energy of someone desperate to prove their worth. It will be with the calm, quiet certainty of someone who has become their worth. Let this be your reminder: delays are not denials. They are invitations. Invitations to rest, to realign, to return to yourself. The universe isn't punishing you. It's preparing you, preparing the conditions, the timing, the clarity, the peace, the perfect moment. So breathe, stay grounded in your muddy, sacred soil, and wait, not with frustration, but with faith, because peace, like the lotus, blooms for those who trust the mud. Lesson 10. Let action flow from inner peace, not panic. Imagine a candle burning steadily in a quiet room. The flame doesn't flicker or tremble. It stands tall, bright, unwavering, not because it's fighting against the wind, but because the space around it is still. This steady flame is how your actions should rise. Not from panic, stress, or desperation, but from a deep, settled place within, a place of quiet clarity. In today's restless, fast-moving world, it's easy to confuse busyness with productivity, chaos with progress. But Buddhism reminds us that real strength comes when our doing flows naturally from our being. Think for a moment about the last time you acted out of panic. The rushed messages, the decisions made under pressure, the scattered thoughts that pulled you in too many directions. Did those actions truly bring you closer to what you desired? Or did they leave you feeling more drained, disconnected, and uncertain? The wisdom here is clear. Inspired action is born from stillness. The moment you return to yourself, quiet your mind, and settle into calm presence, your choices gain both clarity and strength. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. When you root yourself in the now, your actions are no longer reactionary. They become intentional, thoughtful, aligned. This principle is especially vital for those navigating burnout, career transitions, identity shifts, or emotional storms. The pressure to keep moving, keep achieving, keep proving can feel relentless. But what if the solution isn't to do more, it's to do better? What if the breakthrough you're searching for won't come through frantic effort, but through calm focus? When you act from steady wisdom, rather than reactive chaos, your impact multiplies, your energy stretches further, because it's no longer wasted on needless struggle or scattered effort. So ask yourself now, am I doing this from calm wisdom or chaotic reaction? The answer to that one question can quietly reshape the way you approach your work, your relationships, and your entire life. As we reflected earlier, true power isn't born from hurried doing, but from mindful being. When you move from a place of calm presence, everything you touch carries more clarity, grace, and quiet strength. Lesson 11. Let life happen. Like clouds drift across the sky, there's a certain quiet magic in watching clouds drift across a wide, open sky. They don't cling to one place. They don't resist the wind that carries them. They simply move, changing shape, shifting color, floating effortlessly forward. Your thoughts and emotions work much the same way. They rise, they linger for a while, and then, just like the clouds, they pass. Yet so often, we resist this natural rhythm. We grip tightly to feelings, situations, and worries as if they were meant to stay forever. We become desperate to hold on to what was only meant to visit. And this resistance is where suffering grows. Buddhist wisdom reminds us of a simple but powerful truth: whatever has the nature to arise will also pass away. The art of non-resistance, of letting life happen as clouds drift across the sky, is one of the great master keys to calm. Imagine a professional burned out by relentless deadlines, unexpected changes, and the crushing pressure to maintain a perfect image. Their mind feels like a storm that won't pass. But what if, instead of fighting against that storm, they learn to loosen their grip? To allow the wind to carry them for a while, not as a sign of defeat, but as wise acceptance, knowing that even the fiercest chaos is temporary. Just like clouds, every emotion, every fear, every frustration eventually moves on. Life doesn't become peaceful through control. It softens through the gentle embrace of impermanence. The moment you stop resisting what's fleeting, you create space for calm, clarity, and unexpected new possibilities. Ask yourself now, what temporary situation am I clinging to as if it's permanent? Is it a crumbling project? A painful emotion? The fear of a future you can't predict? Holding onto these only tightens the suffering. It binds you to a storm that was meant to pass. Instead, practice a simple, powerful mantra: this too shall pass. Repeat it quietly when anxiety rises. Whisper it when old doubts replay in your mind. Let it be a soft reminder that nothing is fixed. Everything is in motion, and the grip of resistance only dims your light. This wisdom feels especially meaningful for anyone facing career crossroads, emotional transitions, or the heavy expectations our fast-paced world often demands. The pressure to have it all figured out, To stay polished, perfect, and in control, can be suffocating. But life, and the universe itself, teach us to trust through impermanence. Like clouds in the sky, our circumstances shift, our roles change, our seasons come and go, and clinging only clouds the brilliance of what could come next. When you gently release your grip, you invite peace, you allow the universe to deliver what you truly deserve. In its own perfect timing. Practice watching your thoughts and feelings move through you without clinging to them. Without labeling them as good or bad. They are like clouds, sometimes dark and heavy, sometimes light and playful, but always passing. Through meditation, or even a few moments of conscious breathing in your day, begin cultivating the ability to observe without attachment. In that spaciousness, calm will quietly take root. From that inner stillness, you'll find yourself able to respond to life with wisdom, not react from fear. And this, too, is the art of peace. As we learned before, the wisdom of non-resistance isn't about giving up. It's about letting go of the fight against what's fleeting, and flowing with the natural rhythm of life. Like clouds drifting freely across an open sky. The power of non-resistance, calm courage in motion. The strength of non-resistance lies not in passivity, but in deep, courageous acceptance and steady, graceful flow. Life's storms never last forever, and your mind doesn't have to remain a constant battleground. When you allow life to happen, much like clouds effortlessly passing overhead, you naturally align yourself with the deeper rhythm of existence. You stop clinging to control and start connecting to the quiet unfolding of your true path. So when the next wave of stress, doubt, or fear inevitably arrives, as it does for all of us, remember the clouds. Let your thoughts and emotions move through you. No need to grasp them. No need to shove them away. Trust, as the sky trusts the drifting clouds, that they too will pass. And beyond them, clearer skies await. When you embrace this simple, powerful practice, you open space within your life for the universe to deliver what's meant for you. Not by force, not by frantic effort, but by calm, steady, unshaken flow. Bonus lesson: live as if you already trust the universe. There's a defining moment in every life when you realize that waiting for certainty is a kind of forever waiting. Like a bird perched hesitantly on a branch. It's hesitation, not the wind, that keeps it from soaring. Faith, on the other hand, is what compels it to leap before knowing how the air will hold it. And this is the essence of trusting the universe. It isn't just hoping or wishing. It's living as if you already believe you'll be caught, supported, and guided, even when you can't see the landing. For those exhausted by career pressures, lost in identity transitions, or recovering from emotional storms, the weight of doubt and fear can be suffocating. But what if the courage you need comes not from having proof, but from choosing to live each day as if everything is already quietly working out in your favor? This isn't blind optimism. It's a quiet, steady knowing rooted deep within your being. A calm faith that you don't have to control every outcome. Instead, you discover your world with open curiosity, giving yourself fully to the process, whatever it may look like. As Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us, your work is to discover your world. And then with all your heart, give yourself to it. Imagine making decisions from a place of quiet abundance. Not scarcity, from belief in perfect timing. Not fear of falling behind. How differently might you approach your career struggles, your personal healing, or your restless mind? Would you push less, and breathe more? Ask yourself, what would I do today if I truly believed everything was working out for me? Picture stepping into your day with that unshakable inner calm, sending out not frantic, grasping energy, but a quiet, magnetic assurance. The universe listens less to your desperate words, and more to the vibration you send out. Like a compass naturally finding true north when undisturbed. Your inner self finds its alignment when still. When centered. Trusting the process doesn't mean standing still. It means acting from peace. Moving forward not in a panic to control outcomes, but in calm wisdom, knowing you are quietly supported. Even when the path ahead looks unclear. There may be moments when you hesitate, tempted to force things into place. But remember, like a river that flows steadily without needing to see the ocean. Faith strengthens when you release the need to predict every ending. You don't have to carry every burden alone. Let your actions rise from inner peace, not from anxious panic. The candle burns longer when shielded from the wind. And your true impact, in your work, in your relationships, in your soul, multiplies when your spirit remains steady amid the noise. Living as if you already trust the universe isn't about perfection. It's about shifting your relationship with uncertainty. It teaches you to observe your mind like a still lake reflects the moon, clearly. Without distortion, without drowning in restless storms. When you watch your thoughts with gentle, compassionate awareness, you weaken the grip of anxious fears. They lose their hold. You become the calm within the chaos. The silent, steady thunder that carries strength without noise. And it's within that sacred shift that room opens for the unexpected. For grace, for miracles, detachment, like the resilient bamboo, bends but never breaks, and in that quiet resilience, abundance begins to flow freely toward you. As you've seen throughout this journey, when you stop clinging to what isn't meant for you, peace quietly takes root, and in that space you create, by trusting, by loosening your grip, by letting go, the universe begins to deliver what you truly deserve. Not because you chased it, but because you finally made room for it. So take that leap of faith today. Live as if you already trust that the winds of life will carry you safely. Even if you can't yet see where they lead. This quiet trust is your secret power. It's your steady compass when the world around you shifts. It transforms overwhelm into calm, chaos into clarity, and when you embody this trust, you'll find yourself moving with life, not against it, inviting in the peace, opportunities, and growth that have long been waiting for you. Quick recap: 12 timeless principles for a peaceful, aligned life. 1. Let go like the sky releases the storm. True power isn't in control. It's in surrender. When you stop trying to manipulate every outcome, life begins to flow naturally. Resistance creates suffering. Peace follows those who loosen their grip and trust the unfolding. 2. Observe your mind like a still lake watches the moon. Inner calm begins not with reaction, but with awareness. Become the quiet observer behind your thoughts, and you'll free yourself from anxiety's grip. Observation is liberation. 3. Align your energy like a compass finds north. The universe responds to your vibration, not your demands. When your inner world is calm and aligned, your outer world reflects that harmony. Stay centered, uplifted, and remember, manifestation begins with your emotional alignment. 4. Trust the river, even when you can't see the ocean. You don't need to know how every piece will fall into place. Just take the next step with faith. Life's unseen currents often guide you better than your most careful plans. Surrender outcomes and allow the process to carry you. 5. Be empty like the bamboo to be filled by the wind. Detach from outcomes, people, and mental clutter. In letting go of inner noise, you make space for clarity, peace, and blessings to flow in. Detachment isn't indifference, it's inner freedom. 6. Let stillness be your thunder. Stillness is where wisdom lives. When you cultivate inner quiet, you no longer chase life. Life comes to you. Create space for insight by embracing silence and presence. 7. Heal the inner mirror to reflect a brighter world. Your life is a reflection of your beliefs. Heal the wounds. Shift your self-perception, and your world transforms. Self-love, awareness, and gentleness with your mind are the foundation of all lasting peace. 8. Think lightly, like a feather rests on water. Overthinking blocks peace. Loosen your mental grip and let your thoughts float rather than sink. Simplify your mind. Lightness isn't carelessness, it's clarity in motion. 9. Wait for the bloom, like a lotus in mud. Growth takes time. Stop rushing your process. Every delay, pause, and setback is part of your unfolding. Patience isn't passivity, it's faith in motion. 10. Let action flow from inner peace. Not panic. Don't act from chaos. Act from calm. When intentions rise from stillness, your actions gain clarity and power. Choose presence over reaction. 11. Let life happen like clouds drift across the sky. You don't need to resist what's passing. Emotions, situations, even storms, all come and go. Non-resistance isn't weakness, it's wise adaptability. Peace lives in those who stop wrestling with life. 12. Live as if you already trust the universe. Act with the quiet confidence that everything is aligning for your good. Your belief shapes your reality. The more you trust, the more you'll find yourself surrounded by synchronicity and grace. The heart of it all. We spend so much time chasing, doubting, and resisting what already longs to come our way. But true power isn't in controlling everything. It's in presence. It's in the steady calm you choose in this very moment. Because what you seek is often waiting just beyond your mental noise. As long as your mind is filled with fear, overthinking, and anxiety, the universe cannot deliver. It's like knocking on a door while shouting so loudly, you can't hear it open. The quieter your mind becomes, the louder life begins to speak. Let go of the pressure to figure it all out. Let peace be your new direction. Zen teaches that when you stop chasing, you arrive. Life doesn't demand your perfection. It asks only for your presence. You don't need to fix everything. You need to see clearly, feel calmly, and act wisely. The rest will take care of itself. Trust that life is wiser than your plans and far kinder than your fears. And remember, each of these 12 principles isn't just a thought. It's a practice, a new way of breathing, thinking, and moving through your days. The universe works in frequency. Your calm isn't weakness, it's alignment. Your surrender isn't defeat, it's stepping into higher wisdom. When you realize that nothing is truly lacking, the whole world belongs to you. If these words spoke to your soul, please like this video, share it with someone who may need it today, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Daily Dharma Wisdom for more simple, profound Buddhist teachings to help you live with clarity, peace, and quiet strength. Your calm is your power. Your peace is your path. And your presence is your gift to this world.